And thanks for clicking on this video. In this video, I'm going to talk about, can anyone call themselves a nutritionist? And in Australia, yeah, that's true. And it seems kind of weird. So I wanted to clarify that because it's quite confusing. And it was confusing to me when I started studying. I wasn't quite sure what the differences were. And even now I look and I Google it, and it is very confusing. There's courses, there's certificates, there's certificate 4, there's diplomas, and yeah, then there's bachelor's degrees, and there's a degree in nutrition, and there's a degree in clinical nutrition that I've attained, and there's a degree in dietetics, and there's a master's in dietetics as well. And I guess that's remiss of me because when I started studying, I didn't know what the differences were. And I actually had to call the university and speak to a program director to explain the differences. I thought, well, no, I want to study nutrition. But then he explained to me clinical nutrition, and there was more science involved. And initially I was like, oh, no. I remembered science from high school. I don't want to be doing that. But it became clear for me understanding then, okay, so dietetics, and that's more medical, that's um, nutritional therapy for, medical conditions like eating disorders, like chronic kidney disease, like tube feeding, commonly in a public setting like a hospital. And that's not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be with clients and listening to their concerns and giving them strategies to improve, because that's what led me to study. And that's where clinical nutrition comes in, and the difference between clinical nutrition and just studying nutrition. But it's hard, right? People go to the gym and then someone says, oh, eat more protein. And then someone on Instagram will say, I have this supplement stack, right? And then someone else will say, oh, you need to go and see a dietitian. And then someone else says, oh, go and see a nutritionist. And then who are you supposed to listen to? It is very confusing because of that. And anyone can call themselves a nutritionist. Two people can have very different educations and professional accountability. So maybe instead of asking, are they a nutritionist? The better question is to understand their training, to say, what training have they undertaken, and take a look. And honestly, sometimes it can be hard to find. I see people and say, oh, they think they sound like they're talking like they know a few things. And looking in and social media and backgrounds and stuff, it's hard to see exactly what training they've had. So I've put together a graphic, and I have had to research this online. This isn't something that just, bang, Google gave to me, and put it together to layer the different educational pathways, I should say, to show you the difference. And as I mentioned before, dietitians play an important role in the healthcare system. And then so it's more about their specialization in areas of medical and hospital settings. What attracted me to clinical nutrition was working directly with people, as I said before, sitting across from someone who was struggling, someone low on energy, weight isn't moving, and they've had conflicting nutritional advice. And importantly, it's someone who feels like they might have tried everything. And that's what resonated with me most, because I used to be that person. Often a client will see a mess, but I'll see symptoms. I'll see stress or weight gain, low energy, digestive issues, poor sleep, lots of moving parts. And my role, and this is what I thrive for, is looking for those patterns, and then importantly, identifying practical next steps for people that work in real life. So much of nutrition and health advice is quite polarizing. Don't do this, just do that. Don't buy that, don't eat this. But real life happens, and you can't have rigid rules. So you need a plan that's going to work, and it's going to work for you. And that's my role. So that doesn't mean that the advice you hear at the gym, can be wrong. It can be absolutely right. But the thing is, generalized advice and individual professional care are not the same thing. And that's where training, professional standards, and accountability really start to matter. In New South Wales, there's a piece of legislation that unregistered health practitioners are covered by a code of conduct. And I'll put it on the screen now. It's the same for a nutritionist. It's the same for a certified practicing nutritionist. It's the same for a naturopath. It's important consumer protection, but it's a minimum standard. Professional accreditation goes a step further. I'm a certified practicing nutritionist, or as I refer to myself, I'm a CPN. I'm accredited to Australasia Association Register of Practicing Nutritionist, which gets shortened to ARPN. You might have heard me say that before. Now, this means that I'm required to take continuing professional development, comply with professional standards and a code of conduct, and I remain accountable to an external organisation. And that's important because nutritional science does not stand still. It's always evolving. If you look over the past decade, we're learning more about the microbiome, about gut health, about fat, about saturated fat, about protein, obesity management, and even now we've got emerging science about appetite regulation. Continuing professional development helps practitioners stay relevant with emerging evidence. And it's something that I really enjoy, and it's something that you just can't rely on what happened years ago and perhaps, when someone studied nutrition. So when people ask me, can anyone call themselves a nutritionist? Yeah, the answer is yes. But I don't think that's the most important question here. I think the better question is, what training do they have? What qualifications do they have? And who are they accountable to? And probably most importantly, are they the right practitioner right now for the problem that you're looking to solve? And if you'd like to explore what a nutritional consultation might look like with myself, you can click the link below, and I've provided a free discovery call for 15 minutes where you can have a telehealth secure connection and ask me anything you'd like. So I hope to meet you shortly. And if you've got any more questions, you can also email me, and I'll put my email in the links below. Thanks for listening.